Hey, since it's the weekend of the Arnold by the time I'm posting this, how about we review an Arnold movie? So what movie are we going to review? How about Stay Hungry? And I'm not happy about that. Which is convenient because through circumstances not of my own choosing, I am forced to bench press today. And I hate bench press. If you watch a lot of Arnold documentaries, when they're talking about his career, his life, you know, all that shit, you might get the impression that Stay Hungry is a bodybuilding movie, which makes a fair amount of sense. It was made in 1976 during Arnold's career, during when Arnold was the guy when it came to bodybuilding. So it's not unreasonable. Unfortunately, those assumptions would be incorrect because the actual subject of bodybuilding doesn't come up until the third act. There is a little bit of exercise, and they mention that the Arnold character Joe Santo is a bodybuilder and he is training for Mr. Universe, but it's not actually the main focus, which is also surprising because Arnold's the biggest guy on the cover of the movie. So I can understand where you might be confused that this would be an Arnold-focused movie. Now, it actually stars these people in the background, played by Jeff Bridges and Sally Field. So basically, the story goes that Jeff Bridges is sad that his parents are dead. So he gets in with these slimy, shady businessmen, and they decide they're going to build a high-rise in Atlanta. And to do that, they're going to buy an entire city block. The only problem is that there's a holdout, which just so happens to be a gym spa thing that Arnold trains at. So Jeff Bridges decides to get the brilliant plan to infiltrate the gym as a member and try to convince the greasy Johnny Rip motherfucker to sell. But Arnold and Sally Field are nice to him, and he decides maybe this is a bad idea. So after a series of, let's say, unfortunate events, Jeff Bridges buys the gym from the owner after he gets arrested and keeps it for himself. I didn't mention a bunch of the side plots like the love story between Sally Field and Arnold, which apparently kind of ends for Sally Field and Jeff Bridges, and Arnold hobnobbing with the rich and he feels like a toy for their amusement. Well, let's not forget Arnold's training for the Mr. Universe. The biggest show in bodybuilding. All these subplots together are unfocused and have nothing to do with each other. I fucking hate bench press. Just like I hate this movie. Someone said I swear too much during these videos, and I'm sorry, I can't help it with a movie like this. It just gets to me, man. And one might reasonably think that this movie is focused on Jeff Bridges falling in love with the gym environment and what have you. This is his story. But there's enough of Arnold in there to make me wonder if this was originally a story about a rich land developer that had a bodybuilder subplot thrown in, or if this was a bodybuilder movie that had a rich developer subplot thrown in. Probably the second one, if I were a betting man. And the editing in this movie doesn't do any good to make it any less confusing, because the subplots are thrown together incredibly haphazardly, and there's no transition between the scenes, or at least a proper transition anyway, to make it think, oh, we're going to this part of the movie now. There's no sense of real time, except Arnold mentions he's training for Mr. Universe, and then at the end of the movie, he's at the Mr. Universe. This movie could take place over 2 weeks or 4 months. We don't really know. There's no true progression of time. As far as the characters go, they're all awful. They boil down to one-note main characters who complain about everything and are really whiny, or they're side characters that George Lucas would say are cringy. Our main character, Jeff Bridges, is either boring as a block of wood, or he's a complete asshole who's yelling at everyone and blaming all his problems on people he just met. And Sally Field is nothing special as a girlfriend character goes, because basically she just cries all the time because the men in her life are dicks to her. Which, I know this is the 70s, and I guess it was a state law that women were not allowed to be terribly interesting in film, but come on, man. All the other characters are generic Southern asshole stereotypes who artificially make conflict. In fact, the only character that's worth a damn, and strangely enough, the only actor who's doing a half-decent job, is, believe it or not, Arnold. And I'm not kidding when I say that. The character of Joe Santo is the only character that has any sense of maturity and is totally fine with his purpose in life, becoming Mr. Universe. And would you believe he won a Golden Globe for this movie for Best Newcomer in '76? I could see it. And the character of Joe Santo is always, he mentions, he's always moving towards the next great goal. He wants to be the best. He wants to, in his words, stay hungry. Hey, that's the title of the movie. Sound familiar? Because that is basically Arnold in a nutshell. And Arnold himself doesn't do too bad of a job. And to contrast what I mean about the two characters, the party scene, which was the end of the second act, Jeff Bridges gets mad at Sally Field for talking to other guys, even when he told her to take a flying leap. And it's this big fight that causes a second act breakup. Whereas in that same party, Arnold's performing with his country band of hillbillies. That's another subplot I forgot to mention. And he gets made fun of. But instead of throwing a tantrum like our main lead, Arnold decides, you know what, I'm not going to take this. He just leaves. He's like, sorry to his bandmates, and he's like, I'm out of here, man. I got better shit to do. Great character. I love to see it. Too bad we couldn't get good enough writing for our actual lead. This movie was all over the place. You know, the plot of this movie really should have been about Jeff Bridges, sad of his dead parents, instead of trying to buy out the gym in an underhanded way. He actually goes to the gym and meets Arnold and a bunch of the gym goers who are all a bunch of misfits. He learns to fit in and then tries to buy the gym from the dipshit owner. It'd be a story about him learning to, you know, go out and get what you want in life, even if you're sad and depressed and whatever. Would have been a great story. Nope. We get this disjointed mess. By the way, everything I just said is copyright, so don't even think about it. There's a lot more about this movie that I could talk about and I could have talked about, but it just all escaped me while I was talking about it. There's so much wrong with this movie, but to really recap what I think about this movie, I think this sums it up. You know, I was watching this movie with my dad, and when I say he's an Arnold fan, I mean he saw Pumping Iron in 1975 in the theater type of fan. He has seen almost every Arnold movie, every major Arnold movie, I should say. He likes Arnold so much, he actually got this t-shirt. See that? Arnold for Presidentator. This was real. He really signed onto the campaign to get Arnold elected president. He really is a fan of Arnold. And when we were watching this movie, he said three things that I thought were very telling. Two of them during the movie, he said, "Can we turn this off?" And this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And the third thing, after the movie was over, he said, "Can we get rid of this?" Think about that. A 60-plus-year-old man who has followed practically everything Arnold has done, who has bought his books, bought his audiobooks, who has a huge collection of the movies, who has seen most every Arnold movie, who will not only justify pretty much any Arnold movie, but also pretty much any movie in general. This is not a man who hates movies. Said this is one of the worst movies he's ever seen in his life. Are you really surprised when I say that this movie absolutely sucks? And if you're really looking for a classic Arnold movie to watch in honor of the Arnold that's happening this weekend, man, just watch Pumping Iron again. It's so much better. Thanks for watching. If you like that video, well, that's good for you, because there's some buttons down there below this here video that you ought to click. I've heard that they bring about happiness, joy, and good things. I can't guarantee it, but I've heard it. So consider clicking those buttons. But what did you guys think? Did you enjoy this movie? Have you seen it? And did you enjoy it? Well, there's a comment section that you can tell me how wrong I am. And I don't know what I'm talking about, so go down there. What do you guys think? Have you even seen this movie? If so, did you like it? Do you think I'm totally wrong and an idiot? Well, go down in the comment section, and that's where you can tell me. I'll be going to the Arnold this week. I probably won't do much vlogging or filming because I'm just going with my dad to hang out. But if you are going also, see you there. Anyway, that's about all I got, so if you'll excuse me, I need to go eat. See ya.